This is the resume. Oh wait, no. This belongs in the trash. This is the resume that got me over 20 interviews at Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Barco, Foxconn, Microport, Procter & Gamble, and Sloan, just to name a few. Most resumes look exactly the same nowadays, so you really have to put in extra effort in order to stand out to recruiters and land that job. Most people, including my former self, just don't know how to do that. So this got me thinking, why not share my resume with you guys and walk you through how to write a resume that's guaranteed to attract recruiters and land you way more interviews and job offers. So let's get started. So when you go to submit your resume to an online job application, the first thing that happens is a recruiter reads it, right? Actually, that's wrong. The applicant tracking or ATS system picks it up first and it scans the resume for specific keywords. When I made my resume, I made sure that it was filled with keywords that were actually contained in a job description. You're not expected to know the exact technologies that are listed on the job requirements, but you are expected to know something equivalent or similar to those job requirements. Now we're going to see how you can include those keywords from the job description into your resume. So let's look at this mechanical design engineer role for Apple. It looks like they're looking for experience with design analysis tools like SolidWorks, Creo, ANSYS, IcePack, finite element analysis, NX for 3D CAD, mechanical fabrication processes, GD&T, and so on. Now let's take a look at my resume just to see how it matches up in comparison. So you can see here that I've actually listed a software that I've used and they don't exactly match the job requirements, but the important thing is to see that they're transferable. So it's perfectly fine if you have some sort of 3D CAD software listed such as CATIA or FEA software like Abacus that will directly translate to a job that requires something like NX or ANSYS, because these skills are easily transferable. So yeah, you can and should add as many keywords from the job description onto your resume to maximize your chances of getting your resume in front of a recruiter. Now let's say you don't know a particular skill or qualification listed on a job description like GD&T or DFMA. Definitely don't write it on your resume just to bypass the ATS system, because it will backfire when you get asked about them in the actual interview. A better strategy is to develop all the skills listed on a job description that you're lacking and then showcase them on your resume, and even in a portfolio or website that details how you apply these skills through projects and internships. Now, if you know CATIA but the job description says SolidWorks or NX, I don't see anything wrong with writing NX on your resume, because all CAD skills are transferable and it will only take you a matter of several days to get up to speed with the new software. Assuming your resume makes it through the ATS system and into the hands of the recruiter is still reading through hundreds of thousands of resumes a day and on average spends 7 to 10 seconds reviewing a resume. So you need to do everything in your power to stand out in a sea of applicants. This means using a clean template, clear and concise wording, removing all of the logistical fluff and cliches, and prioritizing information from top to bottom. Now, a game-changing tip that's so simple yet often gets overlooked is showing quantifiable results on your resume. Take the time to assess how you positively impacted the company, the percentage decrease in cycle time of a manufacturing line or reduction in manufacturing cost of a mass-produced CNC part that your changes made, or even the percentage increase in product efficiency that resulted from redesigning the heat exchange system using COMSOL. This is exactly what a recruiter is looking for. Recruiters love to see that you properly assess the impact that you made at a company. I talked about how I optimized the design and performance of water closet fixtures, and then I also talked about the impact. So the design changes I made resulted in a 10% reduction in manufacturing costs. Now, once the resume goes through the ATS system, a real person actually looks at it. And this is what hiring managers told Harvard
Harvard Business Review on how to craft a resume that stands out. Don't send the resume to every job. You can have a foundational resume that compellingly articulates the most important information, but you have to alter it for each opportunity. As a first step, you carefully read the job description and highlight the 5 or 6 most important responsibilities, as well as a few keywords that you can then use in your resume. Each version doesn't need to be radically different, but you should tweak it for the position, the industry, etc. This could mean changing the sequence of the bullet points or switching up the language.
At the end of the day, you want to do things that show the recruiter, hey, I paid attention to the job description and I'm interested in the role.
You also want to make sure that you format your resume in a way that's really readable to the recruiter.
You can see that I've listed my contact information at the very top, then my education, followed by my work experience here. At the very end, I list relevant skills that I possess and anything that I think the recruiter will find impressive. If you're a student, it's fine to include your education at the very top. But if you're a seasoned mechanical engineer with at least 5 years of work experience, it's better to move your education section to the very bottom of your resume. If you're a student, you want to make sure to add details about your personal projects if you don't have a lot of work experience from internships yet. But what if I told you that the biggest part of my portfolio wasn't just my resume? It was actually my LinkedIn profile. This is the LinkedIn profile that caught the eye of Apple, Bose, Coca-Cola, General Electric, Amazon, and Procter & Gamble recruiters.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at my LinkedIn profile.
Now the main thing is the work experience. I don't list what I did or the impact of my work on a company here like on my resume, but you totally can if you wanted to. Like at Foxconn, I worked on the iPhone 15 and that's just all I wrote. At Sloan, I worked on sensor and IoT hand dryers, soap dispensers, flush valves, as well as water closets and sinks. But for my master's thesis and research work that I did at Tsinghua University, I go way more in depth since I can't really include it on my resume that's limited to a page in length. Then I include my design engineering position that I held in undergrad and the internship I did.
The great thing about LinkedIn is you can write whatever you want.
Even for your education, you can list the clubs you participated in and the awards, scholarships, grants that you received, and so on. There's also a licenses and certifications section where I list my SOLIDWORKS and Flow 3D certifications along with Python and an English teaching certification that I did mainly for fun. Then you can list all your skills, and the best thing is there's no limit and your connections can endorse them. Like for SOLIDWORKS, 6 of my connections endorsed it. I also list all of my grad school publications on my profile that I think many recruiters find impressive. They can actually click into it and read the abstract. I doubt they'll understand any of it, but in their minds, it sounds very technical and contains a lot of buzzwords. You might not have enough time or space to explain what you did in depth on your resume, so your LinkedIn profile is the perfect place to do that. Here, I also have a volunteering section. I haven't really spent a ton of time on this, but you can ask coworkers to give you recommendations on LinkedIn, even if you're a student. Ask your professor or your boss at the company you interned at. This can make a day and night difference in terms of attracting recruiters and landing interviews, because recruiters can definitely tell the difference between someone who takes the time to talk about someone's work and showcase that, hey, they did a great job, versus I'm just here to write a recommendation because they asked me to. Nowadays, resumes aren't nearly enough to showcase your skills. You also need a searchable business presence online. I always tell students and anyone job hunting to reach out to recruiters on LinkedIn. Recruiters might even reach out to you, and I can't count the number of recruiters, some from big tech companies like Apple, who've contacted me in the past. You have to remember that recruiters get paid if you get hired by a company, so don't be afraid to reach out to them, because most recruiters love to connect with potential candidates. Connecting with recruiters will never hurt, because you never know when you might need a job and when they might be able to help you. Speaking of jobs, one one of my favorite platforms that was instrumental in helping me develop technical skills and giving me an extra edge in job interviews was Brilliant, the sponsor of today's video. It features thousands of interactive lessons in math, physics, data analysis, programming, and AI. Brilliant breaks down complex problems into simpler pieces, leveraging a first principles approach. Their lessons build problem-solving skills by allowing you to experiment with concepts. This method is proven to be 6 times more effective than conventional lecture-based learning. Brilliant's lessons are designed by experts, including professors and researchers from MIT, Caltech, Microsoft, and Google, ensuring you learn from the best. Brilliant promotes critical thinking through active learning, not memorization, so you become a much better thinker. It also encourages the habit of daily learning, conducive to both personal and professional growth. Brilliant's fun, bite-sized lessons allow you to learn wherever, whenever, and make the most out of your time. One of my favorites is Brilliant's comprehensive range of math and science courses that let you build and use formulas to solve exciting real-world problems in engineering and everyday life and enhance your visual and spatial problem-solving skills. To try everything Brilliant has to offer free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/engineeringgonewild or scan the QR code on the screen or check out the link in the description below. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. Now, did you know that recruiters have a different version of LinkedIn called LinkedIn Recruiter? Very creative name, right? They use this to search and filter for people that they think would perform well in the interviews.
So now I want to quickly explain how LinkedIn Recruiter actually works.
It's similar to the resume ATS system where it filters for certain keywords. A recruiter can actually filter on the left-hand side based on what they're looking for. So they can check for a person's years of experience, filter for what a company a person has worked at, the roles that they've been in, all different sorts of things. And then on the right side, you see a bunch of profiles that have popped up. So a lot of recruiters actually do look for people in a specific location. So if they're trying to fill a role, even if it's remote, sometimes they do tend to look in the area that they're filling a role in. But anyways, other than that, try to make sure that your LinkedIn profile matches these filtering processes so people can also search for certain keywords. And this filter, they can search for CAD, GD&T, DFMA, FEA, and any mechanical engineering related skill. So make sure that you're also putting the correct technologies that you've worked on multiple times in your LinkedIn profile. At this point, I've shown you how I crafted my resume and LinkedIn profile. But you guys have something that I didn't have when I was interviewing, and that's AI. And no, not Apple intelligence, but artificial intelligence. Use that to your advantage. So next, we're going to use ChatGPT several different ways. This is going to save you so much time. First, I'll have ChatGPT generate a resume for me from scratch. We see a pretty good initial draft already that we can work with. Each bullet point details what was done. However, it sounds kind of boring and not enough quantitative achievements are mentioned. So I'll tell it to improve the resume to sound more dynamic and engaging by including the impact of my work in each bullet point. Now you can keep refining and iterating if you notice that any part or aspect of your resume is not up to par in terms of content, wording, or formatting. That's the beauty of ChatGPT. I see many people complaining that ChatGPT doesn't give them what they want when they give it a poorly written and thought out prompt. If you put in garbage, you'll get garbage out too. That's how AI works. Now, if you already have a resume, you can have ChatGPT improve and optimize it however you like. You could tell it to improve your resume by copying and pasting the contents and prompting it to make each bullet point in my resume more impactful and engaging. You could also tell ChatGPT to modify the skills in your resume and rearrange the bullet points to customize it for a specific role. You just need to feed ChatGPT the job description along with your resume and tell it to tailor your resume to the job description. At the end of the day, the true mark of a strong resume is how well it tells the story of your technical experience and, more importantly, the impact that you've made. It's not just about listing tasks. It's about how you solved real problems and made a difference. A good resume isn't just a document. It's a reflection of your ability to clearly communicate even to the people who might not speak the same technical language privileged as you. This shows recruiters that you're not only capable, but also someone who can work well across teams. Crafting a standout resume takes time and practice, but that's only one piece of the puzzle. Building a presence on LinkedIn and forming genuine connections will set you apart in ways that a resume alone can't. Every step you take is part of the journey towards getting that dream interview and getting noticed by top recruiters. But above all, believe in yourself. The hardest part is already behind you. You've put in the effort to grow your skills. Now it's about showing the world what you bring to the table and making that first unforgettable impression. You've got what it takes. Now just go out there and prove it. All right, guys, that's it for today. As always, thank you so much for watching. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out my video here where I share a surefire strategy to ace any technical interview. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.